Hi there, baby boomers. I'm John France, author of the For the Love of Boomers book and the podcast. And today we're featuring a very special guest, Terry Alverez. Good morning, Terry. How you doing?
Good, John. How are you doing today?
I'm terrific. I'm terrific. Um, Terry's story is unique for us today for several reasons. He is the youngest boomer I have interviewed on the show, 8 years younger than me. He grew up in my hometown, Sioux City, Iowa, and attended the same high school, the mighty East High, and he played football. And we became acquainted when he responded to a boomer post I made on Facebook, and we eventually talked on the phone. And even though I'd never met him when I was living in Sioux City, because of course I'd gone to college by then, he had met my parents through our dear family friends, the Dawsons. To my surprise, he spent enough time with my parents to say he knew them. To hear him talk about time with my parents now that they've been gone for so many years was initially kind of strange when I first heard it, but it became very warm as the conversation went on because he remembered them so fondly. And of course, they were very endearing people. After high school, Terry attended Morningside University, earned a degree in business administration, worked at the Sioux City Journal. He was an account exec at Minneapolis Star-Trib, general manager, advertising director for Adams Multimedia, regional advertising director for Cherry Road Media, and more and more. He and his partner have 2 children and 2 grandchildren, and he's a great friend of many. And he is perhaps one of the most down-to-earth, charming, solid-the-earth people I've ever met. His motto is bring everyone together. And now he adds to that, of course, us boomers have to stick together, which of course makes all the sense in the world to me. So, Terry, I'm going to bring up a picture of you and your team, and when I get it up, you can talk about, that. If you give me a moment, I will go ahead and do that. So the picture is now up. So go ahead, Terry, tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Okay, well, John, thanks for having me. I feel very special and happy to do this. That picture back there, the team is going back to the mid 2000s, 2004 to 2007. And when I went down there, it was a team that had a lot of. When I went in there, they had a little bit of some difficult times with the economy, and the morale was somewhat down and this and that. So what I did is I went and I had one-on-ones with everybody on that team. And then what I did is I talked to human resource on what do we need to move forward. And I came up with a Walt Fiegelism in this. Walt Fiegel was our high school coach, my sophomore, John's varsity coach, that it said, tough times don't last, tough people do. So having said that, I had somebody in our creative services department put up a poster for me. And then I really built things on team that if we work well together, mighty things will happen. And as a result, we brought in some new hires. I was very engaging with the sales staff. I did one-on-ones. I had team meetings with throughout the building. I also got involved with Chamber of Commerce's and asked the people to go with me to meet some of these people. And I made the job fun. I made the job, the goals were very attainable, and we had a lot of laughs. And as a result, in the 3 years, we had some pretty big strides. And I think in that first year, if I'm not mistaken, we made $1 million year over year. So what I really tried to do is, everybody's got an important position. You have a position, you have a job to do. Your person next to you has a job, you have support help. And so as a team, we streamlined things together. And I think the team overall the concept really went well, that we're going to add, we're going to be aggressive, and we can win as a result of that. So it was really a special time in my life to manage that team and others too. And I have managed other teams in Sioux City and in Pennsylvania and in Colorado as well. But this particular picture that I sent you really represents a team that had a lot of fun, and I still stay in touch with some of those people today.
A great story. The theme just keeps repeating about bringing people together. I'm curious. Tell me if you can. I'm sure you can. Please tell me who nurtured you to have this advanced sense of community. Where did it come from?
Well, that's a great question. I think, John, the way we were raised in that era, we did so many things. We weren't hooked to our iPads, into our cell phones, and the computers. We had each other. So we played in the sandbox together. We played football in the Washington school. But I think I had some early educators that really taught the team aspect. And one of them comes to mind is John Pomoya. I mean, I can remember he laid down little boards on the ground, as far as when this tackle pulls here, then this running back runs through here, and you double team the linebacker and you go. And I think that was really the first person in my life to really understand what team was, all about how you can execute if you do things well together. And so I always thought about that process as I went into Morningside University. We did group projects. We were interdependent on one another. And I got my MBA at the University of Phoenix too. And part of that, and this was not online, but it was in person. And we had a lot of interdependence there, where you had your individual projects. We also had team projects. So, John, you might be good in finance. Maybe I was good in marketing. The next person might be better in operations. So we would put together the team papers, present them together. It all came back to what I'd learned early in life as far as teams go. And we all had teams, in school. We had Cub Scouts, again, that resonates with me. Little things like that we did a lot of things together. I'm not so sure that happens as much today, but I sure do, I'm happy about that's the time frame that I was a kid growing up. But I had some, I go back to scout leaders, Coach Pomoya, and into high school too. I had some great coaches there about team. And I've always, even in my emails, I put team in their team. Let's work on these projects together. So I've been used to using that word. And I can remember in one meeting saying, there's no I in team, folks. It's all us. So, we work together, we congratulate, we pick each other up,
Yep. Great.
Whether it's good or bad.
That's great. I think I'm reminded that Pablo Picasso said, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." And I think I hear you doing that, and I have to ask you the question. You're on the edge of retirement. After you retire, who will you give your gift to? What kind of volunteerism is on your mind?
That's a great question again, John. I think the one thing that I've always been like a 10K runner. I think we've shared with each other. I ran 5 half marathons. But the first thing I would probably do is do some volunteerism with 10K races, little things like that, where some of the races that I've ran, the people that are supporting, they're handing you water, or they're taking times and helping distribute bananas or granola bars or Gatorade, those kind of things. As a team, you want to set forth that this is really a great effort. Congratulations. So work in teams like that. And they're always looking for volunteers. I personally have not ever done that, but it's something when I retire, I'll be 65 in a couple weeks, but I'm not retiring yet. But those are that's one of the things. The other thing I've done as far as volunteerism, I've been very involved with Chamber of Commerce's. I've been on committees. I've been in newspaper association committees, some board of directors. So there might be other things out there that I haven't really searched. It could be whether it be church or it could be helping the grandkids, with things like that. I'm not so sure how good a coach I would be, but those are the kind of things that looking forward that I think that moving forward the next few years, that there's plenty of opportunity. And I enjoy the teamwork. I will stay in touch. I've got a network of friends. You can always bounce ideas off other people. Like, hey, I'm about ready to retire. What are you doing in your retirement? And you might be surprised how resourceful you can be when you talk to your friends about retirement and what they're doing now.
Right. Well, that's great. I love what you're thinking. And I also love that you are talking to your friends. I was going to ask you, how are your boomer friends doing?
Yeah, well, you know what? Overall, I think they're doing really well. I've got a network of friends up here in the Twin Cities area that I see on a regular basis. We've traveled together. We do guys' weekends, or not guys' weekends away, sports trips. We've been to Boston, to Notre Dame. We've been to Chicago a couple times, to different sporting events. So as a group again, and I set up some of these meetings or some of these trips where we did verbos and things like that. So as a group, we work well together. We decide, where we haven't been. Notre Dame was on a bucket list for a couple of us, just to go to South Bend, and what an experience it was to go see a football game there. And we knew somebody there that took us to a tailgate party, little things like that. The other thing that I do too is my high school friends. We have a text chain, and we're always jabbing each other, having fun. It's just like we haven't left. And when I go to Sioux City, I try to get everybody together, or somebody down there will do it. Every year for my birthday, I used to rustle up everybody to get together somewhere in a restaurant or some fun spot in Sioux City. And we've had, I know I'd sent you a picture of it, but I think there was probably 10 or 15 of us that got together. Some of them drove in from Lincoln and Omaha and places like that. I came down from Minneapolis. So I think it's important to stay in touch and to communicate, over communicate, talk about tough issues too. It could be health issues. It could be, financial. I mean, going on Medicare, I got some advice on where to go with those kind of things. So I think if you do a really good outreach with the people that you know and you love, and you go have some background with and you trust, I think it's a great way to network. And then eventually you'll meet more people by doing things like that are baby boomers.
Wonderful. I love all of that. That's how you live the how we stick together thing. And of course, I think for me, as watching my parents age, they very much had an inner circle of friends that were their age that that they counted on. And Dawson's were one of those people, and my aunts and uncles and friends in the street and on our street, church people, and my dad happened to be in this Nordic choir, which was really had a lot of nice friendships they made from that. So they did look out after each other, and because they did. That older chapter actually was sweet. They really appreciated each other, and they appreciated, time together. So that was great. Another topic is in the book. We have a chapter on "We Are Dreams Walking," and I was just wondering, which is all about how as you go through life and as you age, your dreams need to be recalibrated sometimes. And I was curious to know if you've ever had to adjust any of your dreams in your lifetime.
Yeah, I think we've all had to adjust dreams. It could be career wise, it could be where you live wise, those kind of things. A lot of my dreams I hit with my career. I was able, I had to move around a lot to move up the ladder. And I was very fortunate there. But my dreams, uh, as far as being a baby boomer and where I'm going now with it is I want to pass on some of those dreams to other people. And that could be grandkids, it could be friends, it could be those kind of things. As far as you can set yourself into great positions. If you dream a little bit, you can visualize where you want to live or what kind of career you want. And you have to chase and put a goal up there. And then and certainly it could be anything from athletically or 10Ks or career dreams. And I really want to be realistic too, because at this point in my life, I don't want to be CEO or anything like that, but I want to pass on now that dreams are important, the dreams can come true. That if you, it's kind of like what Lombardi said that, and I'm not a Packer fan, I think you are over in Milwaukee, but he always talked about it attaining chasing perfection, chase perfection. You'll never be perfect, but in the turn, you'll attain excellence. And I think by dreams, the same thing as well. That you can, um, chase your dreams. Uh, the great news, with dreams that they can change too. And I think, kind of going back to your point, that I used to, run a lot, run 10Ks, those kind of things. My dreams now are to stay strong, walk 5Ks, volunteer. Work wise, I'm doing fine, but I adjust those dreams to uh, I'm going to walk a 5K as an example in the spring. I have a time set, those kind of things. So you still dream at age 65, but the dreams have to be more realistic and they have to be attainable as well. Hope I didn't talk too much, but I've been a dreamer my whole life, being a baby boomer, and we went from black and white TV to color TV and saw visualize what's out there. I watched the Brady Bunch. Little things like that that I wish I could live in Southern California. So things like that. So I know I'm kind of going off the topic a little bit, but you can always have dreams. It could be through your grandkids, or it could be yourself health wise and where you want to go.
I love, what you just said. I mean, I think the thing is that you have to be creative. You have to look at what you want to do and then also what you can do and have that sort of as a direction. And then you just need to celebrate when you make a dream come true. If like walking a 5K, it's still fun, and the goal is that you're keeping your health going. And I think as long as we don't somehow feel down about the fact that it's not a 10K anymore, and we have to, move the goalpost, so to speak, to be happy with walking a 5K and to enjoy it, with the people around you. I mean, that's a fun event, those kinds of things. But we just have to be creative and have to create new dreams if the old ones aren't there anymore. And I love what you're saying.
And John, I was going to say too, in the last 2 years, I had lower back surgery and a hip replacement. So the doctor basically said, you can only run if a tiger's chasing you. So having said that, I did have to move my dreams. And I should have said that earlier, that, okay, so I can't do this, but this is what I will do. So barring injury, I'm hoping that 5K turns to a pretty good race and hopefully a pretty good time.
Yeah, good for you. I love it. I love it. You're an inspiration going forward. Well, I'm going to wind this up. This has been great. Thank you, Terry, for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And I hope you'll come back. The bottom line is we all have to adapt to the world as it changes and boldly go on. And keeping in mind, us boomers have to stick together. So until next time, remember to take good care of yourself, everybody. And also remember that it's your heart that takes you places. So thanks very much. Bye-bye today.
Thank you, John. I appreciated the time.
Have a good one.
You too.